All right. Chat want me to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. The San Antonio Spurs got mollywopped. They got whooped, okay? They got whooped by the Houston Rockets. Now, there's not too many teams I actually hate or despise. I know that a lot of Spurs fans hate the Lakers. I don't really hate the Lakers, you know. I'm not crazy about the amount of attention that they get all the time, but I don't really hate them. Same thing with Golden State. I only hated them when they went and got KD. I was like, this is too much. This is ridiculous. This isn't fun. The NBA is ruined. Like, yeah, I hated that. But Houston Rockets, I just hate this team. I just hate them. I hate them more than Kendrick Lamar hates Drake. It's a lot of hate here. It's a lot. I don't like the Rockets, and I don't like Rockets fans. All right? I don't. I hate the Mavericks when we are actually good. I never hated the Mavericks. I've always respected the Mavericks. But the Rockets, man, it's like their fans are just so, it's not all of them. I don't know if I have to say that. You don't have to say that, right? It's the same thing with everything. You don't have to say and preface any of that. Their fans in general are pretty ridiculous. Like they always overhype their team. They're constantly saying that they're better than the San Antonio Spurs. I mean, they were proud if they could possibly maybe get a play-in last year, and it was like, you guys aren't good enough to get. And I don't know. It's just weird, man. I can't stand their fans. And also, they had many of fans asking or wanting Wemby to be injured when we drafted him. So yeah, I don't like the Rockets. I don't like them at all. Littlest brother always yaps the loudest. That's true. All right. So with that being said, they did whoop us. All right. I'll give them credit objectively, even though I have a bias towards hating them. I will give them the credit. They played well. They played more physical than us. They played better defense overall. They certainly hit more threes. I mean, we have to look at it. I didn't look at the stats on it, but it felt like they were hitting every three they put up. So yeah, they absolutely destroyed us. With that being said, there are some goods that we can take out of this. I don't really think that there's any bads to really take away, right? Either I have a neutral thought on certain things about the game, or I have a positive thought about the game, right? So I'll tell you a little bit about what I mean by that. So Zach Collins, he played the exact same way that he's been playing. He did knock down a three, so I'm hoping that this can give him a little bit of momentum going forward, because Lord knows we are going to need him to hit threes, okay? It can't all... Mamu cannot be the only big man that hits threes. He can't be the only one, and apparently Bassey can shoot threes, which I wasn't very aware of because we never use him that way. I was not I didn't know Bassey before he came to the Spurs, just being transparent there. Some guys I do know. I did not know Bassey, but apparently he can shoot threes, so maybe the Spurs start using him in that way. But starting off, Zach Collins was what we expected, right? Not too great from the field at all. It wasn't that good. But at the end of the day, he hit a three. That's important. And those 6 assists, they actually were pretty gorgeous. He's always been a good passer for us. So neutral, right? Don't feel worse about the situation, just neutral. Champagnie didn't have the best of games, but this is what you can expect when you don't have Chris Paul right now, right? Chris Paul was really helping to get the ball moving. Chris Paul and Sohan were doing a good job of keeping that ball moving, and it gave Champagnie a little bit more space. And yeah, in this game in particular, they didn't give him much space to operate at all. And he even had to take a step back three. The 1-3 he hit, right? Wasn't it a step back? It was a lot of work for him to get a three off. And that's not something we're expecting for the future. Barnes actually did well. Okay, statistically, I didn't know how he did. Watching the game, it didn't feel like he got 12 points. But then again, when you're getting whooped the way that we were getting whooped, it is what it is. Trey Jones, nothing negative to say here. 8 assists. This is what you expect out of him. In a tough game like this, where the Rockets were really D'ing it up, I don't expect him to be able to score. I'll just be real with you, okay? He's more of a complimentary player. He needs other guys. Malachi Branham. So once again, neutral. Nothing changed here. not positive, just neutral. It's the same thing that I've been seeing this entire time with Malachi, right? He's not a guy who I think we're going to be able to utilize to his best ability, right? Like this game in particular, it was a lot of mid-range shots. It was a lot of pick and rolls, and that's what he's best at. That's his bread and butter. And while it looked fine during this game where you literally started him and you didn't have anybody else playing, it looked fine. But when the season's actually starting, we're not going to use him in that way. We're going to use him as a catch and shooter, right? So I'm not surprised that he did okay. This isn't that good. This is that good. It's not 50%. Under 50%. But I'm not surprised that he was able to put up 15 points playing the way he did. He also played very aggressive, which was good. And I did appreciate that from him. He went to the line the same amount of times as Castle did. So he was definitely aggressive, made some really good cuts. Defense was horrible, let's just be honest. But like I said, no surprise here. Nothing's changed. Tis what it is. Perimeter defense was non-existent this game. From Malachi, it was really bad. I mean, he was getting stuck on screens constantly. Guys just, their first step is past them. I mean, it was bad. It was really bad. Helping in situations where he didn't have to help, leaving his guy wide open. It was strange. It was strange. But he wasn't the only one that seemed a little discombobulated. And we'll talk about that in a minute. Mamu, he did his thing. I think at one point he was 3 for 3, right? But once they started D'ing him up, getting a little closer, closing in on his shot, got exposed just a little bit. And they definitely took advantage of his lack of defense as well. But Şengün is very difficult to guard in and of himself. So Bassi, during his 14 minutes, he was great. I think that he's starting to get his confidence back, confidence that he's going to be okay, that he's not going to be injured. He has some bounce to his step. Obviously, you could tell they've been practicing with each other because they knew it. They gave him a couple alleys, right? So he did a good job. He did a good job overall. Defensively, he was fine. He'll always be undersized, but there was one play in particular where Bassi went chest for chest with Şengün after fouling him, basically. But he was playing really hard on him, made it tough for him, and he stared him down. Like, he was in his face staring him down. I was like, I didn't know Bassi had that in him. I haven't seen it, but he was not playing. He was not playing. It was very impressive. Sorry, I say impressive a lot. Flynn, we won't talk about that. This is, these were garbage minutes. Blake Wesley. So when I said that there was another player that seemed discombobulated, it was Blake Wesley. He seemed like in this game he reverted back to the Blake Wesley that we weren't that crazy about last season at times, where he was overzealous, not necessarily slowing the game down, just moving way too fast, making poor decisions, getting stuck like mid shot, like what am I going to do with the ball? Defense wasn't even that good. He got cooked quite often defensively, which wasn't expecting that. Now, this doesn't mean I feel negatively towards him anything, all right? I'm still overly positive about Blake Wesley. The entire preseason, he has been great. This last game, with the lack of talent we had on the court, it kind of showed that at the end of the day, Wesley is a rotational player, right? He's not going to be I don't personally think he'll be a star or anything like that. I don't think he'll be a future point guard or nothing. But I do think that he's a fine rotational player, and he got a little exposed going against a team that played very good defense, played tough, getting ready for the season, and him having to be one of the main guys that contribute. Yeah, he got exposed. Steph Castle. So this is a strange one. If I came into his stats by themselves without actually watching the game, I would have thought that he had a terrible game, right? Almost 50%, 1 for 5 from 3. It's like, that's not great. Only 3 assists, 2 steals, 2 turnovers. But I swear, guys, if you watched the game, he actually played really well. Like really well. And the Spurs oftentimes kind of leaned on him. They leaned on him. So he did a great job, I thought. Statistic-wise, isn't the best. I mean, you got the negative 26, but he was out there so often. And they threw him out there with a lot of different lineups. And every single time, I thought that he shined through. There was some play that was huge, or some play that showed his toughness. Like, for instance, like he basically 50%. He had a dunk or a putback dunk that he missed, and that would have counted towards missing the shot. But then he got the rebound, the offensive rebound. So you can see he got 3 offensive rebounds. He had 4 total. 3 of them were offensive. And then he went back up and the shot went to the line. And I think he knocked down 1. I don't know if he knocked down the second one on that one. But yeah, he just did a really good job, I thought. And unfortunately, the stats aren't going to show it, but that's why it's important to watch the games, City Sissoko, statistic-wise and the eye test, he did a good job. Just overall. It seems like his confidence is built a little bit, and he's letting the three-pointer fly, man. That's one thing that worried me, because oftentimes City will have a wide-open 3, and he will just cut to the basket. Like, no, I just want to score in the basket. Let me catch a body. But this game, he had an open one. He's like, I'm taking it. He didn't hesitate or anything. He just let it fly. So that was nice. That was nice to see. So overall, honestly, City rocks, dude. He really does, Minister. Overall, I thought the Spurs did a fine job, okay, for all things considered. With missing Sohan, Harrison Ingram didn't play. That's kind of unfortunate. Minix didn't play. I know a lot of people like Minix. But Keldon Johnson, Sohan, Wemby, Chris Paul, Devin Vassell not playing. All things considered, most of it came onto the backs of Castle and City. And I thought that those two really showed up. Castle showed a lot of clutchness. At one point, it felt like he was going back to back with Van Fleet. So, anyways, I'm proud of the Spurs this game. I know it's a whooping, but at the end of the day, overall, and Popovich said this as well. They played well. Contextually played well. 26% from 3. You're not gonna win many games like that. How many turnovers did we have? 12. Okay, we did fix the turnover. We had terrible turnovers the other game. And actually, the Rockets had more turnovers, which I was not aware of that. Dude, how many points did Van Fleet have? 50? He had 15? He went 3 for 9. Dude, I swear it felt like he went 8 for 8. Jeez. Maybe it was just big time shots. Like the Spurs would close the lead a little bit and then he'll hit a 3, and that's why it felt like that. I'm actually shocked it's 3 for 9. Plus 26. He was out there the whole time Castle was out there. Jalen Green went nuts. Yeah, Jalen Green can 7 for 13. Oh my goodness. Maybe that's where it came from. He had 30 points. Good God. Preseason doesn't mean anything. It doesn't. It doesn't. Anything, it just kind of shows what you're working with, kind of allows you to experiment a little bit. And Lord knows the Spurs experimented. They experimented. Yeah. But honestly, look, unless everyone is absolutely out, including Steph Castle, I never want to see Malachi Branham start. I don't think he's a starter type player. He's not that type. If anything, he's a spark plug. Or how we're going to use him, he should be just a spark plug right now. I don't ever want to see Branham start ever again. This is a terrible... I guess I was just frustrated a little bit because we had an option that would have been a better starting lineup than this. This is a terrible starting lineup. Who's going to give you buckets? And that's what I mean by Malachi, really went into his primary skill, which is pick and roll ball handler, because no one's going to give you a basket. But Branham isn't the most efficient at doing that, and he's much better coming off the bench. Even if you had him in that role. I'd rather start Wesley over Malachi just for defense on the perimeter. Yeah. Like, I couldn't tell you how many pump fakes Wemby fell for on the perimeter these 2 games. Yeah. Yeah, he was flying in the air, which was strange. He didn't do that last season. I think Castle is having that solid bench 6-man role. That's why Pop is not starting him. Probably. Our offensive threats were all out. That is true. We had no one we could really lean on. I mean, literally, even if we just had Keldon, I feel like this would have been a better game. Wemby wasn't an offensive threat. Oh, you talking about the 2 games he played? No, he wasn't. He'll be fine. I know we criticized Wemby this stream, but all things considered, he'll be fine. He's gonna be great. He'll be fine. It's just I'm worried. There's nothing to worry about. He'll be fine. He'll get it going. He does put in the work, and he's genuinely really talented. Even the worst, think of it like this, even the worst case scenario, let's say Wemby doesn't play, like a bona fide superstar for the entire season. Wemby in his sleep will have games where he has 5 blocks, 15, 16 points, 16 to 20 points, 11 rebounds. Like, just worst case scenario, that's what you're looking at. A double-double in multiple games of 5+ blocks. Like, he'll be okay. And sophomore seasons are always, or usually people say are the toughest. Somebody told me that rookies, was it someone that told me that, or did Wemby say that? I think Wemby said that he heard rookie seasons are the hardest. I don't know. I've always heard sophomore seasons are the toughest in the NBA. Trying to apply everything you learned as a rookie. Right now, his defense is his best asset. He'll get better offensively with experience. Yeah, that's gonna take time. The only thing I will worry about is Wemby, don't jack up shots. You don't have to. We actually this season, it's not like last season. This season we actually have a pretty competent team that can pass the ball, and we can look really nice. I think I read from some French fans on the chat that they call him Diesel because he needs time to heat up. We're talking about Wemby? Yeah, sometimes when he does that, it irritates me. Yeah, just like putting up multiple shots. Yeah, it's like you don't have to do it. It's okay. We're all right. All right, in this segment, good stuff. Thank you guys for talking about this game with me, man. Yeah, it was a butt whooping, but if anybody didn't watch the game and you were wondering how it went kind of well, man. It wasn't as bad as you think. I mean, it was bad. I mean, they were putting that work on us, but as far as individual, like what we were looking for, the people that you wanted to showed out, and the people that didn't is kind of what you expected anyway, right? I wasn't expecting Zach Collins to come in here and do phenomenal against Şengün or nothing like that. I wasn't expecting Malachi to do great today. But I thought Castle and Sissoko did pretty decent. And Bassie too. Bassie probably the most important out of the group. Because regardless, I think Sissoko still gets a year to learn and go to the G League and all that good stuff. But yeah. Anyways.